To support the people of Ukraine and the humanitarian efforts of the Red Cross and the UN Central Emergency Response Fund, John Romero, the grandfather of Doom, is releasing a new Doom 2 level for a donation. 100% of the proceeds go towards those agencies. You can head over to Romero.com to purchase the new Doom 2 level, or you can donate to the American Red Cross through the fundraiser through this video or others on my channel. Check out Romero.com at the link in the description.
Kaiju, turtles, Dragon Ball, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews.
Hey there, collectors. It's Steven here, and I have another Do My Turtle review for you. And we're looking at Wave 4 of Numskull's Doom Eternal collectible vinyl figures from the game. That's right. In case you for some reason missed the news and you haven't seen my other videos on them, in Doom Eternal, Doom Guy goes around collecting different vinyl figures in his adventure. And he collects one of the Mancubus and the Hell Knight. And that's what we're taking a look at today. He collects several others, and that's what Numskull is doing, but we're only looking at these two for today. If you're interested in checking out some other ones, I got videos up already of all the ones that have been released so far. But for these two, we have what is going to be the largest one so far, bigger than the Cacodemon and Arachnotron already released. And then we have one, gonna be honest, whoever designed this over at id, I don't think they really looked at a Hell Knight, because this looks kind of like a duck. But let's take a look to see whether or not they're going to be worth adding into your collection. Yeah. We'll start with the Hell Knight, and I'll, this one, when I picked it up in game, I thought, this isn't a Hell Knight. I mean, it's not. If you look at the Hell Knight in game, yes, he's purple. He has purple. I have him in hand right now. He's squeaking. But he's not like gray and purple. He's like meaty sort of purple. Not like this. And the face, he looks like a duck. This isn't the Tubbs line. This is the Doom vinyl line. But anyway, in terms of the overall execution of the sculpt, I think the details are sculpted well enough. Especially if you take a look at the back, the muscles are really cool. And honestly, if you're playing Doom Eternal enough, you're definitely going to be seeing enough of these Hell Knights up close and personal, especially if you're using the shield bash method. So paint application's good. We actually have some nice spray on the arms and the legs from the transition from the gray to the purple. Don't really know what else to say here. I think the Hell Knight looks good. Now that section was rather short because now we have to move on over to what could have been, what could have been my favorite of these. But once I realized the tubes were made of rubber, and my immediate fears were realized. At second one, yeah, the Mancubus. So he's large and he's in charge, and quite frankly, he's very impressive. This guy takes up a whole bunch of shelf space right away. You can tell that. And there's a whole bunch of neat stuff going on here. Little bit of paint slop. I think the spray for the eyes is not applied correctly. I think the machine maybe was not calibrated, but that's not really going to be the big issue. So the Mancubus has tubing, and it's made of rubber. And if you've been in the game long enough, you know exactly what the next few words out of my mouth are going to be, and it happened. The connection point, especially for the right one on mine, where it plugs into the body, ripped right out of the box. And it's not even a matter of I went to go finagle the Mancubus here out of the box. No, I mean, I took the top piece of plastic that was holding him in place out of the box and was already torn. That being said, got these through GameStop. Very easy to initiate the return process. This one is actually already on its way back to GameStop's warehouse, and once it's confirmed, they're going to send me a new one. Very, very easy to return. So if you're interested in picking these up, I would maybe suggest going with a retailer that has a rather good return policy. So GameStop is where I went. Big Bad Toy Store is a good one as well. I actually don't know where else you might be able to pick these up, but you know, if you find a good retailer, just check to make sure they have a good return policy. But otherwise, aside from that, we do have the orange that's going to be in the cannons, which we are going to see a side-by-side comparison with the in-game collectible. In-game, it lights up. Here, they did a good job of emulating that best they could without it actually lighting up. The heart is actually suspended. It's actually protruding out of the hole in the chest, which is different from in-game, but it is a very nice touch. Yeah, I think overall the shading on the Mancubus is pretty neat as well. The lights, I guess, on the back are great. And of course, we have those Mancubus cheeks. Yeah, overall, the paint application is really good, but just the fact that we have a ticking time bomb here, even the one on the left side is beginning to tear. That immediately knocks this down to not the lowest peg, but just about possible. Articulation, Hell Knight first, since I talked about him when we looked at Sculpt and Paint, and I have him in hand again. We're going to have the head, which is on a swivel at the neck. That's just going to go ahead and spin around. Very easy. It can get all the way 360, just like the shoulders. Not a problem. He raises his arms up, and he does have hip swivels. That's going to be it. But do take note that if you move the arms out other than the neutral arms down position, we do have a slight balancing issue. Just keep that in mind. Now, for the Mancubus, we are going to have shoulder swivels, but do keep in mind that it is going to stress that rubber tubing, so you don't really want to do that too much. We do have a waist swivel that can spin all the way around, and we do have swivels at the hips. So yeah, it is something to keep in mind. Now we do have a size comparison here with Wave 3, and the Mancubus is going to be on a riser in the back, just so this way we can have a good look, because I think a lot of folks are just going to go ahead and get these 4 at the same time, and you can see how big they're going to be. Yeah, as you can see, the Mancubus is huge, and does blend in well with your other Doom figures you just might have, or some other video game collectibles. Now, as promised, here's going to be a side-by-side comparison with the in-game models. Most notably, we're going to go ahead and start with the Hell Knight. I do feel that the Hell Knight has a much more, I guess, deep purple. Yeah, go ahead and make the music comment joke down below. And I feel like the face sculpt on the in-game model is just a bit different. I feel like it is a bit more intimidating, and there is a bit more of an open mouth in game, along with some smaller yet more so well-defined teeth and much more sunken in eyes, as well as a nose as well. The abdomen area also features a bit different paint application and well-defined muscles, and also of note, in game it denotes that there is going to be a waist swivel, unlike the actual physical collectible. Now for the Mancubus, there's a big difference compared to what we get in person, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. First and foremost, let's talk about how they cut up the articulation in person. As we can see here for the in-game model, it kind of looks like there would maybe be ball joints at the shoulder, but here for the physical figure, they just move those over to swivels. So that's a rather interesting cut. The rest of the articulation is rather the same. Now for the physical in-hand figure, there's a lot of dark shading, which really helps to enhance the details, whereas in-game, Mancubus is very pale. Like I did make mention, the cannons do light up in-game, not on the actual figure, and the heart that is going to be in the chest is actually rather flush, just a little bit of a texture there to represent a little bit of a bump for the heart, whereas the actual figure, it is protruding out of the hole just a little bit. I do think that in-game we are going to have a bit more of an open mouth, and the top portion of the head is going to be sticking up just a little bit more as well. So buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. In comparison to their in-game counterparts, I do think that the Mancubus is actually a bit better, whereas the Hell Knight is lacking in just a couple of areas. I do think, though, that the Hell Knight is a rather faithful rendition compared to the in-game model. Don't let that be absolutely, for whatever reason, diminished. I do think that the Hell Knight is a rather solid purchase, but for the Mancubus, those rubber tubes, that's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Yeah, so overall for this wave, it's rather disappointing considering that the Mancubus just really had the opportunity to send this one home and be amazing, but it is what it is. So if the Mancubus is your favorite, I'm sorry to disappoint. But yeah, Wave 3 was absolutely stellar. Wave 4, unfortunately, is a bit of a bummer, but if you're a major Doom fan, well, I guess super glue might work.
Well, collectors, that brings us to the end of the video today, and I just wanted to take a second to thank you so much for watching. Now you've heard a lot from me, I'd like to hear a little bit from you. Drop in the comments down below whether or not you liked it, you hated it, or maybe you were somewhere in between. I also want to take an extra second here for a nice, humongous thank you to all the patrons for SDR over the last month who have really helped the channel grow into what it can be today. So to all of you, 2 big thumbs up. Thank you very much. And now the end card should be popping up, which will give you a few clickable links, like maybe to subscribe or head on over to my Patreon, or some short URLs like to my social media or to my Teespring store. There's also a video I hand selected for you, so if you want to watch another STR video, I hand selected some good content for you to watch, so definitely check out that video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.